Hello, dear listeners. I hope you are ready for another story today. Can you imagine working on a secret project? A project so secret that even your family does not know? In the 1940s, thousands of people worked together in the desert. They built something that had never existed before. They worked day and night, and one man led them. His name was Robert Oppenheimer. This is his story. And if you like discovering history through simple English, please subscribe. Every subscription means we can share more stories with you. Robert Oppenheimer was born on April 22, 1904, in New York City. His family was wealthy. His father was a businessman. His mother loved art. Young Robert was a very curious child. He asked many questions about everything. He wanted to understand the world around him. When he was 5 years old, his grandfather gave him the collection of rocks and minerals. Robert loved these rocks. He studied them carefully. He wanted to know what they were made of. This small gift started his love for science. Robert was different from other children. He learned very quickly. He read books that were meant for adults. By the age of 10, he was already studying chemistry. He spoke to scientists and asked them difficult questions. His parents were proud of him, but they also worried. Robert was often alone. He did not play much with other children. He preferred to stay in his room and read. Books were his best friends. When Robert was a teenager, he went to a special school called the Ethical Culture School. This school was different. It taught students to think deeply about life. It taught them to care about other people. Robert learned about philosophy, literature, and languages. He could speak German, French, and Latin. He loved reading poetry. He especially loved ancient Greek literature. But he also loved science. He wanted to understand how the universe worked. After high school, Robert went to Harvard University. He studied chemistry first, but soon he discovered physics. Physics was the study of matter and energy. It was the study of how things moved and changed. Robert fell in love with physics. He worked very hard. He sometimes worked so hard that he forgot to eat or sleep. His professors noticed his brilliant mind. They said he was one of the best students they had ever seen. Robert finished his degree in just 3 years. Most students needed 4 years. After Harvard, Robert traveled to Europe. In the 1920s, Europe was the center of physics research. All the greatest scientists were there. Robert went to Cambridge University in England. He worked in a famous laboratory, but he was not happy there. He struggled with laboratory work. His hands were not good at handling equipment. He was better at thinking and calculating. He felt frustrated and sad. During this time, Robert became depressed. He even thought about hurting himself. This was a very dark period in his life. But then, Robert moved to Germany. He went to the University of Göttingen. This change saved him. In Göttingen, he met other brilliant physicists. He studied quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics was a new way to understand atoms and particles. It was very mathematical. Robert was excellent at mathematics. He could solve problems that seemed impossible. He worked with famous scientists like Max Born and Werner Heisenberg. These scientists saw Robert's talent. They encouraged him. For the first time in months, Robert felt happy again. Robert completed his doctorate in 1927. He was only 23 years old. His research was brilliant. Scientists across Europe talked about his work. Robert's confidence grew. He realized that his strength was not in the laboratory. His strength was in thinking about big ideas. He could imagine how particles behaved. He could write beautiful equations to describe nature. He was a theoretical physicist. He used his mind to explore the universe. Robert returned to America in 1929. He became a professor at 2 universities at the same time. He taught at the University of California, Berkeley, and at the California Institute of Technology. He traveled between the 2 schools. He loved teaching. His students loved him too. Robert made difficult ideas seem beautiful and simple. He spoke slowly and clearly. He used poetry and philosophy to explain physics. His classes were always full. Young scientists came from all over America to study with him. During these years, Robert built a strong research group. He and his students explored the mysteries of atoms and stars. They published many important papers. Robert became famous in the scientific community. He was known for his deep knowledge and creative thinking. He also had a rich personal life. He loved the desert landscapes of New Mexico. He went horseback riding there. He found peace in the wide, open spaces. He read Sanskrit poetry. He learned about Hindu philosophy. Robert was not just a scientist. He was a person who searched for meaning in everything. Then, in 1939, everything changed. World War II began in Europe. Scientists discovered something terrifying. They learned that it was possible to split the atom. When an atom splits, it releases enormous energy. If this energy could be controlled, it could create a powerful bomb. A bomb that could destroy entire cities. Scientists in Germany were already working on this. The American government became very worried. What if Germany created this bomb first? What if they used it to win the war? In 1942, the United States started a secret project. It was called the Manhattan Project. The goal was simple, but frightening. They wanted to build an atomic bomb before Germany did. The government needed someone to lead this project. They needed a brilliant scientist, someone who could organize thousands of people, someone who could solve impossible problems. They chose Robert Oppenheimer. Robert accepted this responsibility. He knew this decision would change his life forever. Robert chose a location for the secret laboratory. He chose Los Alamos, New Mexico. It was a remote place in the desert. It was far from cities and people. Thousands of scientists, engineers, and workers came to Los Alamos. They built a whole town in the desert. Everything was secret. The people who worked there could not tell their families what they were doing. They could not leave freely. Guards watched the gates day and night. Robert led all these people. He worked 18 hours every day. He walked from laboratory to laboratory. He listened to problems. He suggested solutions. He encouraged people when they felt hopeless. Life in Los Alamos was strange. Brilliant minds lived in simple wooden houses. They shopped in basic stores. They sent their children to small schools. But in their laboratories, they were creating something that had never existed before. Robert was at the center of everything. He spoke many languages, so he could talk to scientists from different countries. He understood both the theoretical science and the practical engineering. He could see the big picture and the small details. People respected him deeply. They called him Oppie. The work was incredibly difficult. Nobody had ever built an atomic bomb before. Every step was new. Every calculation was uncertain. The scientists had to invent new tools and new methods. Sometimes they made mistakes. Sometimes their experiments failed. But Robert kept them moving forward. He believed in their mission. He believed they were racing against time. He thought that if Germany built the bomb first, the world would face terrible danger. This belief pushed him through exhaustion and doubt. By 1945, after 3 years of intense work, the bomb was ready. The scientists prepared for the first test. They called it the Trinity test. They built a tall tower in the desert. They placed the bomb on top of the tower. On July 16, 1945, at 5:29 in the morning, they detonated it. Robert watched from a distance. A blinding flash filled the desert, brighter than 1,000 suns. Then came the heat. Then came the sound. A huge mushroom cloud rose into the sky. The tower was completely vaporized. The sand beneath it turned to glass. Robert stood in silence. He later said that a line from Hindu scripture came to his mind. The line was from the Bhagavad Gita. It said, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." In that moment, Robert understood what they had created. They had created a weapon of unimaginable power, a weapon that could end civilizations. He felt awe and horror at the same time. The test was successful, but Robert's heart was heavy. A few weeks later, in August 1945, the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan. The first bomb destroyed the city of Hiroshima. The second bomb destroyed the city of Nagasaki. Hundreds of thousands of people died. Many more suffered terrible injuries. The war ended shortly after. Japan surrendered. Many people celebrated. They said the bombs had saved lives by ending the war quickly. But Robert could not celebrate. He thought about all the people who had died. He thought about the children. He felt deep guilt. After the war, Robert became a different person. He was famous now. Newspapers called him the father of the atomic bomb. The government gave him medals and honors. But Robert did not feel proud. He felt responsible for something terrible. He began to speak publicly about the dangers of nuclear weapons. He said that countries should not build more bombs. He said that scientists must think carefully about their work. He said that knowledge brings responsibility. Robert became the director of the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton. This was a peaceful place, a place for thinking and learning. Famous scientists like Albert Einstein worked there. Robert enjoyed this work. He helped young scientists. He thought about physics and philosophy. But he also worked as an advisor to the government. He advised them about atomic energy and nuclear weapons. He believed that scientists should help guide important decisions. However, Robert's opinions made some people angry. After the war, America and the Soviet Union became enemies. This period was called the Cold War. The two countries did not fight directly, but they competed for power. Both countries built more and more nuclear weapons. Some American leaders wanted to build an even more powerful bomb. They wanted to build a hydrogen bomb. This bomb would be much more destructive than the atomic bomb. Robert opposed this idea. He said it was too dangerous. He said it would start an endless arms race. Because of his opposition, some people began to suspect Robert. They questioned his loyalty to America. They remembered that in his younger years, Robert had known some people who were communists. They investigated his past. They held secret hearings. In 1954, the government held a security hearing. They asked Robert many questions. They examined his life in detail. In the end, they took away his security clearance. This meant he could no longer work on secret government projects. Robert was deeply hurt. He felt betrayed. He had given everything to his country, and now they did not trust him. Robert continued to work at Princeton. He continued to teach and write. He received many honors from universities around the world. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy gave him an award. It was a way of saying that the government appreciated his work. But Robert never fully recovered from the security hearing. He never regained his security clearance. He spent his later years reading, teaching, and thinking. He thought about science, about morality, about the choices we make. Robert Oppenheimer died on February 18, 1967. He was 62 years old. He died from throat cancer. Until the end, he remained a complex person. He was a man of great intelligence and great sensitivity. He loved beauty. He loved poetry. He loved the mystery of the universe. But he also carried the weight of what he had helped create. He knew that the atomic bomb had changed the world forever. He knew that humanity now had the power to destroy itself. Robert Oppenheimer's story teaches us many things. It teaches us that knowledge is powerful. It teaches us that our choices matter. Science can create wonderful things. It can also create terrible things. Scientists must think not only about what they can do, but also about what they should do. Robert understood this. He spent the second half of his life trying to prevent nuclear war. He wanted humanity to use its knowledge wisely. When we learn about history, we discover these important lessons. We see that every person faces difficult choices. We see that even brilliant minds can feel doubt and regret. Robert Oppenheimer was not a simple hero or a simple villain. He was a human being. He made decisions in difficult times. He tried to do what he thought was right, and he lived with the consequences of those decisions. Thank you for listening to this story today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this journey through history. I hope it helped you practice your English in a calm and peaceful way. If you liked this story, please consider leaving a like. It helps other learners find these stories too. And if you want to continue learning English through history and discovery, please subscribe to our channel. We share new stories every week. Stories that are simple, clear, and meaningful. You can also leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about Robert Oppenheimer's story. Tell me what lessons you learned. I love reading your thoughts. Remember, learning English is a journey. Every story you listen to helps you improve. Every word you hear becomes part of your knowledge. Take your time. Be patient with yourself and enjoy the beauty of learning. Until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves. Keep learning, keep listening, and keep discovering the amazing stories that history has to teach us. Goodbye for now, and I will see you in the next story.